It is true that demonizing Iran is a very lucrative business for the arms manufacturers. I was just doing a little diagram here just to see how this whole thing works. The overarching impulse is what we call greed, okay? Greed. There's only a certain amount of oil out there in the world, and Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have a lot of that oil. The problem is that we have to pay for that oil, and so we pay an inordinate amount of money for that oil, we in the West. And what happens to that money? Well, that money is turned into arms sales, arms purchases on the part of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. And wow, they build our weapons and the money comes back not to the people who pay for gasoline at the gas pump, but to what we call the military-industrial complex, which makes a killing. That's a figurative expression. It makes a lot of money out of these sales to the people to whom we pay the oil. You see the circular thing that's going around here? Now, what happens to the money that the military-industrial complex makes, all these companies and arms manufacturers? Well, they use that money to buy our politicians. Wow. And our politicians in Congress, they authorize defense spending so that these companies can make still more money, not only abroad but at home. And these bought politicians also authorize arms sales within this country. So that's the circular nature of this whole business. It has to do with greed and the fact that oil is not a replenishable supply here in this world. Now, who ultimately pays the price for all this? Well, it's us. It's the people who need to get and to consume the oil. And when I say us, I include the U.S. military, because the U.S. military is well known to consume more oil than most enterprises in the whole world. So there you have it. This is very lucrative, but it's only lucrative to the people who manufacture the arms, the politicians who get paid for what they authorize, and it falls to us to pay the price. There are two other aspects here. One has to do with empire. Every empire has to have far-flung assets and access to needed natural resources like oil and gas and water. And the other thing, and specifically with reference to Iran here, the perceived needs of Israel are very, very important in the calculations of all these forces in play. The notion, which I think is erroneous, that by stirring up hostilities, or a very hostile attitude at the very least with Iran, makes Israel more secure, that, I'm afraid, is going to be proven to be quite the big mistake of the century. Because if this rhetoric spins out of control, if there are incidents in the Persian Gulf or the Strait of Hormuz that lead to wider hostilities, as night follows the day, this could spin not only into a regional war, but even farther, and the state of Israel, I fear, may cease to exist. There would be a lot of damage it could cause going down, but I don't want to see Israel obliterated. But that's what's going to happen if these things are not checked, and they need to be checked now.